All right. Welcome to episode number 30 of the Jake Blanchard podcast, brought to you by the folks at Fellowship Brand. They make premium men's grooming products, waxes, oils, balms, all kinds of stuff for the hair on your face. Go to fellowshipbrand.com, use the code JBP at checkout, and get yourself some free shipping on your first order. My guest today is Erin Alejandrino, instructor and co-founder of The Project. He's vice president of TruLean Nutrition. He's a fitness professional, lifetime martial artist. Erin has over 2 decades of martial arts and coaching experience, and he has helped hundreds of men and women unlock their potential and achieve better health and happiness. You can find him online at the FitBeard and learn more about The Project, a 75-hour personal development experience for men at MDKproject.com. And before we get in, I am a graduate of that Modern Day Night project. Erin was an instructor during my time there, and I am so excited to have this man on the podcast who has done, so much and helping change my perspective personally in business and life and some other things. Erin, welcome.
Thanks, guys, man. I appreciate that, Jake. What an awesome intro. And brother, so happy to be on here and to support you and see the growth and trajectory. What an amazing year and a half it's been since we first met.
I know for sure, my man. Hey, dude, let's make this about you a little bit, though, because I'm excited to hear a little bit about this. I want to know, obviously, awesome intro here. You're doing a lot of cool things. You're pouring into other people. You're, a VP there at TruLean Nutrition. So I want to hear about that as well. But how'd you get started on this trajectory toward fitness, toward coaching, toward wellness? Maybe take me through that.
Man, it's been a lifetime, like anything else. We're all on a lifetime evolution of journey. And my mom put me in martial arts when I was 3 years old, and it stuck. It's probably the most consistent thing that I've done my entire life. And I have found that it has been the place that I've learned the most amount of lessons about myself, the most amount of lessons about life. I know you practice jujitsu, so I know you can make the comparisons. Everything you learn on the mat, you learn somewhere else in life. It's humbling. There's that white belt mindset. There's the progress, the pain, the suffering, and the lessons that are attached to it. But I've just been a student of martial arts since about 3. And that has led me into coaching, led me into opportunities to make fitness my passion. About 5 years ago, I got back into direct one-on-one coaching, purchased a gym, started my fitness branding. The FitBeard kicked off right around then. And then I bought an MMA gym, did that for a number of years. And that was just a lesson learned in business, to be a on the ground instructor as well as an entrepreneur. And that is one of the things I think was one of the biggest opportunities for feedback, was that I knew very little about business and a whole lot about coaching. And so that was, like anything else, man, you learn by trial, you learn by fire, you learn by feedback, just like you are when you get on the mat and you get your ass kicked by someone that's much better than you. So the things I love about fitness, obviously, is that you're always learning, always growing.
Yeah, for sure. So then so where did you have your gym at?
Scottsdale. Yeah.
Okay.
Scottsdale, Arizona. Did the online personal training thing for a while, had some success. My thought around business and fitness is that everybody wants to do well, do their very best. And so I figured that because of my success in personal training, online coaching, that all I had to do was just get a brick and mortar space, and I'd get 10 instructors to do exactly what I was doing, and it would be $1 million business overnight. Everyone has the same work ethic as me, and there's absolutely nothing else I need to learn about it. Matter of plugging and playing and building the space, build it and they will come. And man, I tell you, that was one of the most humbling experiences of my life, running that gym for a number of years and working with a lot of professional MMA coaches, some of the best coaches in town, not the best business people in town. And I just learned so much about leadership, so much about business. And the coolest thing about it was when I sold the gym, when we closed down and we parted ways with the 5 partners that we had, it created me a very new humility opportunity to reach out and see who's doing better in that space. And that's when I got connected with Bedros. I was at the point in life where I knew a lot of things that I didn't know. I was like, who can I learn from in the fitness space that has been doing it for a while, crushing it? And how can I learn as a white belt in that standpoint? learn on someone else's dime also, and build an empire from the ground up. So that's when Bedros and I connected. He flew me out there to California. We hit it off. We've got a pretty fucked up background, which I'm sure we can get into.
Sure.
The similarities between our fitness, our passion and love for fitness, and the entrepreneurial mindset kicked off a really awesome relationship. He brought me on to launch Truline, which is now almost 2 years in running. We're crushing it right now, which is awesome. So blessed for that. And then during that time, about 3 months into our professional relationship, we came up with the idea for the project. And it was really a culmination of both of our combined fitness backgrounds, our fucked up childhood. He shares very openly he was molested when he was young. I was molested when I was young. And just the suffering that comes from being a young man, carrying that shame, that guilt, that confusion, and going all through life and wondering, what the fuck am I going to do with this? You can either make it be a burden and be one of those things that is baggage you carry. It becomes suffering that you never actually talk about and never actually do anything with, or you can turn it into a superpower. And so that was really the commonality between Bedros and I. And we recognized that a lot of people have this suffering, have this baggage, have this shit that happens to them when they're young, and they don't know what to do with it. And so we talked about creating something that has the fitness aspect, that has the business aspect, that takes all the shit from your past and transforms it into something powerful. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
From 3 till I'm 37 now. But fitness has been that consistent thread that has allowed me to stay on track with my mental mindset and keep me out of jail, out of prison, out of a lot of shitty places. Because you think about all the things bad that happen to you when you're young. You have two choices. You can either do the exact same thing that was modeled to you, or you can do the exact opposite. I chose to do the opposite, but for a long time, I lived in that gray area right in the middle. And so, the lying, the cheating, manipulating, all that shit that bad fatherhoods, bad father figures, did for a lot of men growing up, I modeled for a while. So, but here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
So as we're talking about the project, and I encourage folks to go to mdkproject.com. What an amazing, one of a kind type program that's out there. It has grown a lot. Like it is incredible how fast this thing has grown, and the folks who are attracted to it. I was there in the early days. Like I said, it's class 001 was one of the first 10 people to graduate. We didn't start with 10.
No.
So, I mean, I think that's one of the cornerstone principles or ideas in the project that makes it different than probably anything else that's out there is you can go through it and not pass. And actually probably about 30, I don't know the numbers, 30 to 40, at least % of people who go through it don't make it out the other side.
Our average from class 1 to class 7 is 40%. Our last class, we had a 50% rollout dropout rate. So it's certainly not easy. There's the mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual aspect of, just getting hammered for 75 hours straight. We're testing your grit, your fortitude. And there's a lot of feedback. And I remember very specifically, Jake, like you went through physical feedback, you went through emotional feedback, you went through confrontational feedback. Even during the interview process going up to it, there's feedback and growth and all kinds of shit happening that you maybe have not thought about in a number of years. And a lot of people don't want to face it. That's really the fact of the matter. They don't want to face any of that. They want to avoid at all costs. And unfortunately, it's a society we live in. But if you don't face it, you don't get better.
Right. I think that is the biggest thing. It is like a 75-hour mirror that you are constantly reflecting nonstop, every push up, every ruck up a hill, everything. And plus, all the classroom time that's spent as well, just kind of, organizing and focusing and trying to, put your finger on how to get better, which is such an amazing experience. Maybe from your perspective, what's the biggest thing that you've gotten out of the project so far?
Oh man, a reminder that we're all suffering, every human being. And that is the, commonality that brings us all together in some capacity. And if you can bring it down to that and recognize that everyone's got some pain, some trauma, and some suffering, it creates a space with very little judgment, because you recognize that you've got something that you've gone through that is very unique to you. I've got something I've gone through that's very unique to me, but we've got that in common. And so it creates a foundation for a brotherhood. It creates foundation for trust. It creates foundation for vulnerability. And when you see these guys come in on hour 0 versus hour 75, hour 0, everyone is closed off. They're guarded. You know, just their body posture is heads down, slumped. You can tell they've just been beat up. Their confidence level is at nothing, like next to nothing. That's how they've been living their life in their relationships with their kids, in their business, in society, in so many areas. And if you are constantly putting down your confidence, how that shows up is you're going to have addictions to porn, to food, to cheating, to something else. And so you're just creating toxicity around you. And then by hour 75, what happens? And we call it the light switch goes on. There's fire behind the eyes. There's that intensity in the gut. They've been up for several hours. They've been sleep deprived. They haven't eaten all the food they normally eat. They've been beat up. Their body's sore. But by hour 75, there's this brightness. Their shoulders pulled back. Their chest is up. Their confidence. And just seeing where someone can go in the beginning, where they are holding on to their shame, their guilt, their confusion, their anger, their frustration, all that shit, and then they transform it in 75 hours. Like that is the reason we do it. Yeah. It's so fulfilling for the instructors to be able to help facilitate that, to be able to hold space for that, and just see from start to finish that, holy fuck, man, every one of us is fucked up. No matter what happens, how great your life was, how shitty your life was, we all have that same thread and the same opportunity for transformation. So that's my biggest takeaway, man. It's so fucking recharging.
That's awesome. And I can relate to kind of waking up there in the latter hours of the project for sure. Like I know how it feels firsthand.
Yes, you do.
And hey, man, how many of these things are you guys doing in a year now?
We just did Project 007 about 2 weeks ago. I think we're doing 4 to 5 a year. Our goal next year is to do 6. So I'm going to do 1 every other month. Big picture, long term, man. This is something we hope we can get to do 8 to 10 a year. And there's men out there that need it, which is so awesome. There really is. And so the more that it grows, the bigger the brotherhood grows. I don't know if you're coming out to Vegas, but really looking forward to that.
I'll be there.
Oh, fuck yeah. It'll be awesome. But yeah, I think we're about 60 strong right now, which is awesome. And you think about this is kicked off. It's been 15 months since our first class.
Yeah.
So it's grown up quite a bit.
For sure. So, maybe pivoting outside the project now, like going back toward nutrition and supplementation, man, we live in a crazy time right now. I mean, especially with COVID, especially with a lot of misinformation about health and wellness and all those kinds of things. My understanding about TruLean is that you guys are trying to get down to, like what is best, from an organics, natural standpoint for individuals. Maybe take me through that company a little bit more and what your role is as VP and what that journey's been like.
Yeah, man. So the foundation of TruLean is we want to simplify supplements. Just like you said, there's a lot of confusion in the market. There's so many options. You go anywhere, you go to a gas station, there's options for supplements, and you have healthy bars. And so many health companies are standing behind good advertising on the outside, but shitty ingredients in the inside. And the biggest culprit of all of this is putting sugar in anything. So our foundation is that we are building great tasting products that are functional, that are based in fitness, but have zero sugar. And so the zero sugar is the biggest thing that we stand behind. We've got an amazing line of supplements that are practical and tactical, and you don't have all the extra fluff. And so I've got, probably our most popular right now is this wellness shot, specifically talking around the COVID. But everyone's thinking about their immune system right now. And there's so many vitamin C packets, like Emergency's one out there, or so many moms and families are using orange juice as their main source for vitamin C, just packed full of sugar. If you know anything about sugar, and you can Google the effects of sugar on the overall health system, sugar makes you sicker at the end of the day. And so we created a great tasting wellness packet that's got 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, vitamin D, echinacea, astragalus root, ginger, turmeric, all that stuff in a single serving packet. And then we've got another one, I'd say our foundational product. We recognize that because there's so much confusion in the market, we don't want to fight with all of it. We want to focus on one habit. And so the one habit we are over focusing on is hydration. We believe that if you are drinking enough water, it sets the tone for positive habits in every other area of life. Exactly. There you go. But we find that most people don't drink enough water. And so if you ask the average person, the average Mrs. Jones, unless you're an athlete, no one's drinking the half gallon, 3/4 gallon of water a day. And the reason is that they hate the taste of water. And so we created a product called Everyday Fit. It's a vitamin enhanced water. Just add 1 scoop. It's got vitamins, minerals, nutrients, keep you hydrated. And again, 0 sugar, but it tastes fucking amazing. We've got about 8 flavors right now. And so that, along with a wellness shot, like that's the mix.
That's
Keep your system strong and hydrate.
That's rad.
Yeah.
And then so like 2 years in, man, I mean, you guys have you're getting all that stuff manufactured, national distribution, all that good stuff. Like, how's that been? What's that journey been like to cause you've been on the ground floor building this thing up?
Yeah, dude, it's been, so to touch back on, what I did before this, I was a personal trainer, like 1-person business, online fitness coach. And then I sold that, had the opportunity to come out with B, and B's like, I've got this opportunity to launch a supplement company. I don't really have a whole lot built out, but I've got a brick and mortar fitness franchise called Fit Body Bootcamp. And there's obviously a great overlap and opportunity where we could sell supplements and make this pretty profitable really quickly. But we've got pretty much nothing laid out. We didn't have a name. We didn't have a domain. We really had nothing. We had an introduction to one manufacturer. He hired me. I said, yes, I will do it. I know nothing about launching something of this size, this caliber, but I'm your guy. I will FIO and figure it out. And so he brought me on, and within a number of months, bro, it was like drinking out of a fire hose every fucking day from every fucking angle, drowning in the deep end and just figuring it out. But it's been awesome. It's been so awesome. It's been thrilling. And I've learned so much about leadership and how much I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. So to give you numbers, if you look at the growth, year 1, we launched in April of 2019. For the rest of that year, we did about 1.5. And then last year, 2020, we did just over 6 million. So
wow,
exponential growth. And we're on that trajectory to probably double or triple this year.
That's fantastic. Well, that's good market feedback, I would say.
Yes.
That you got a product that's operating well in a space that is typically, there's a lot of products out there. It's saturated.
Saturated. Yeah. And so you look at all the competitors out there, what is, like any business, what is the differentiating factor? And it's going to be the quality of the team members that you have behind the scenes. Like that is one of the biggest things I've noticed as the needle movers for anything. Think about the project, why it runs so efficiently, why it's growing organically. We've got 5 badass motherfuckers that are passionately pouring into the curriculum, the process, the people. And so that is like the foundation, is having a really fucking good team. And over the last 18 months, as we were launching TruLean, that is the main leadership lesson that I'm learning through that growth is have a good fucking team.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Hey, another thing I wanted to ask you about today is, as I've got your time and attention, you've got we heard your dog bark a little bit earlier, but you post a lot online with training your dog and doing all kinds of different things. Tell me a little bit about your pup.
Oh man, Ness is a sweetheart. He is a half German Shepherd, half Australian Shepherd. And I had a German Shepherd right before this. His name was Logan. I had him tattoo.
Oh, what's up, Logan?
Yeah, good dog. And I put Logan through the Canine Police Department's level 2 training, and it was pretty badass. He was off-leash trained. Raka, Matt's dog.
Yep.
Yeah. Similar training to that. Off-leash train, you could send him to something. The downside is it created a lot of anxiety. So he was always on patrol. And so when I got this guy, I wanted him to be just a giant lover, but I wanted him to listen really well. I invested in a training program with this guy called Brad, the dog guru here in Orange County. And he spent 2 hours with me and Ness, charged $1,500, one session, one training. And he says, I will teach you everything you need to learn about training a dog, so he will be the perfect for life, and you only need 1 session. And I was like, fuck, man, I don't know. I think this is like snake oil. I think this is bullshit. I invested $5,000 before with the previous dog. I know a lot of people that just pour into training. There's no way that it can cost me only $1,500 to learn everything I need to learn about training the dog. But he had 500 5-star reviews on Yelp. He had this huge community. He had a 3-month waiting list. I'm like, all right, I'll check this guy out. Made the investment. And the entire training course was based around one thing, and that is setting an aggressive alpha rule with your dog. And so when you bring the dog home, you set rules in the house, you teach the dog what a level 10 is. Level 10 is full on charging, barking, and then staring till he submits. And you see this at a dog park. And you see 2 dogs at the dog park. One dog's got a bone or one dog's got a ball. The other dog chases off their dog, and they stand their ground and they just say, don't fuck with me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That alpha mindset to lock it in with the dog. I did that one time with Ness at our front gate. And ever since then, I only need to go to level 2, level 3, and just auditory commands to him, which is like a shh or he's right here right now. He's listening. And he locks it up. He locks it up, man. And it was the lesson that I got from that, and the kind of feedback and overlap for life, is that that's exactly how humans, especially men, communicate. Is just drill in that alpha mindset right off the bat, set the pecking order, create the respect, and be consistent. The consistency is key. And once you create that consistency, you got a great fucking dog.
That's awesome, man. And you're in SoCal right now. Like, you live in Chino area, is that right?
No, I live in a city called Silverado. I actually just bought a house in November.
Okay. Yeah. You guys had some fires. Did you guys have some fires this year?
Fuck yeah. Yeah. I was in escrow when the entire canyon, I live in a canyon. So like inside, and the entire canyon was on fire when I was in escrow. And there's a line right behind my property. About 35 yards or so down, they had to run one of those helicopter fire lines. So there's this orange streak across the back of my property where they dropped the fire retardant. Yeah,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it was right there.
Oh, is that, you didn't, no damage then or anything like that?
No,
it was just, okay. Didn't get hot enough?
I had to evacuate for about 5 days.
Okay.
Yeah, it's no joke.
So evacuating during COVID, buying a new house, probably with a dog at the same time, trying to run a company, all those things. How do you manage the stress? Like, what, maybe some advice for folks out there about, what do you do individually or personally to get centered, especially, in the chaos?
Great question, man. And one of the principal thing that I teach at the project is breath control. And so I am the coach that is a little bit less aggressive. We're all definitely aggressive in our own standpoint, but I teach breath control. And so I've got a morning meditation practice, at about 20 minutes, just getting centered, getting anchored. And all throughout the day, I listen for the triggers where my body is going into that fight, flight, or fuck it just mode of thinking. And I try to just bring it right back to the breath. And so taking a couple minutes, quick 30 seconds, decompressing, closing my eyes, inhaling, exhaling, and relaxing. And so the chaos doesn't end. The chaos doesn't end. For a person that wants to achieve any level of greatness, you're always going to be inviting stress, overwhelm, anxiety, pressure. And it's the reason why we love combat sports. We love jujitsu, why we love starting new businesses, why we love shit like this, because we're hardwired for it. But if you can't keep cool under the pressure, you're going to fucking crack. And so I always remind everybody, take some time just to connect to your breath. You can do that very, very simply. You can go deep into the breath meditation, deep into the breath work, follow guys like Wim Hof. I get into Kundalini breath, get into over breathing, get into hypoxia training, or you can just listen to your breath, be curious, fill your lungs, empty your lungs, and start there.
Okay. It's all about the breath for you.
All about the breath, brother.
I like it.
I will share this though, is one of the things that one of our 4 foundations, this of course with the project, we've got our 4 F-bombs, faith, fitness, family, and finances. This is the foundation for what we teach inside the project. The first one that I spend a lot of time on is faith. And I don't know if you know this, but faith obviously comes from the modality of spirituality. The root word of spirit is to breathe. You look back thousands of years, millions of years, Indo-European Latin text, like original text, spirit literally translates to breathe. So our ancestors, our forefathers, the people that came before us, they knew that the breath is the center point that connects all life everywhere. And so just focus on the breathing, brother. That is like the best starting point.
I love it, dude. And as we're continuing down this same vein, this monk-like breathing, if you will, you've got a web series that just came out. It looks real fun, man. You're doing it with another guy, Byron. It's called The Meathead and the Monk. What is the inspiration for this? What are you guys doing, man?
Oh man, I think the best way to put it, we're clanging and banging. We're trying to figure out leadership.
Okay.
We live in an entrepreneurial environment with so much feedback, and everyone in the project, and this high speed, fast paced culture that we're in through FitBeard, through TruLean, through the cooling companies. It's feedback rich. And so I'm getting a fuck ton of feedback all the time. Byron, who is positioned as a second in command, he's on the leadership team for TruLean, also a project graduate. He's getting fucking feedback because I'm getting it, then he's getting it. Shit just rolling right downhill. So we're constantly learning. What we're recognizing over the last 8 months or so since he's been working for me is that we have two very different approaches for our leadership inside the building. His comes from a consulting background in business. He used to be a banking consultant in Europe. And it is very much like numbers, margins, and make shit happen. So he is much more of the meathead approach to get a hammer, get a bigger hammer, make shit happen. I like to think sometimes I've got a little bit of wisdom and just a very, very little bit of compassion and a lot of empathy, because I can always understand where people are coming from. I'm working on really feeling where they're coming from. And so we try to mix those two. And dude, I'm a lover. Like, I'm the person that is part of the project team. I'm always so hurt when someone just doesn't turn the lights on, when they don't make it. I'm the instructor of the 5 instructors that is rallying for every single one of those motherfuckers before they come in. And for every single hour that they're there, I pour into the guys, and I'm the one that is fighting them from ringing the bell. There's the bell, there's me in the middle, and there's them saying, I want to fucking quit. And it's typically always me that stands in the middle and say, listen, brother, you are going to regret this. This is going to be something you don't want to do. What can I do for you to help you just stay another hour, another 5 minutes? And so there's that monk side. And so what we're finding in our leadership in TruLean is that those are just a great blend. And every guy has these. Every guy has that meathead where we just want to clang, bang, and get shit done. And every guy has got this balanced lover where we just want to see the best in everybody. We really want to pour into people. We're trying to mix the two. And so it's not just me being the monk and him being just the meathead. We're trying to mix the two, marry the balance, find that perfect, and here I'm going to go woo-woo for a second, but find that balance between the masculine and the feminine so we can be better leaders, better men. And it's really just been a fun conversation because we're getting so many leadership lessons throughout the week that we're like, we should capture some of this shit because it's hard to remember everything that's going on. So yeah, it's mostly been just a conversation between two dudes that are trying to figure shit out.
Yeah, I love that. And, for me, it's one of the reasons I started this podcast as well, is just to have interesting conversations with folks, to learn more about their journeys, to hear their perspective on things. Like in this conversation, I'm taking away breath work. I already work on it, but man, if I can just incorporate it more in my life, if I can make sure that I'm more consistent when things get tough, to just take a minute for me and breathe through it and figure it out. What a valuable lesson I was able to pick up today. So encouraging folks like you and Byron are doing, to just get together and have a conversation, long form, and work it out and just have fun with it. And I think maybe we shy away from not just having those conversations, but maybe just sharing them with people in the world. It's an interesting concept.
Man, I love that, Jake. You touched on something so big that I think is one of the biggest reasons why people join something like the project, or they're afraid to get on social media, or they spend too much time following or consuming content, not creating it, because there's a little bit of a fear about having a conversation publicly and then sharing it, because you're like, oh, what will people think? There's going to be judgment. But everyone's got such a unique perspective, and if you can get out of that comfort zone and just share, and I think not everyone needs to have a podcast, but I think more people need to have conversations openly with strangers in public, on social media. Use your platform in any capacity. Everyone has a platform right now, just to be able to get this shit out that's inside. Because if it doesn't get out, it ends up festering, turning into cancer, turning into this fucking toxicness. But get it out, because there's always someone that can resonate with your message.
100%. I've got a pretty close friend of mine. His name's Luke, and about once a month we get together at his place and we talk and we play chess.
Love it.
That's it. That is what we're there to do. And he has differing political, socioeconomic, whatever views than I have. And so we always find interesting things to go back and forth about, different viewpoints, but we treat each other with a tremendous amount of respect. We don't get butthurt about anything. And we're just there to enjoy the company and have conversations that we don't typically get to have, because it's a really safe place to do it. And it's because he doesn't judge me and I don't judge him in that way. And like, that is so, and that's what I pulled out of the Meathead and the Monk was like, man, you guys are you're just talking about stuff, different approaches, same goal, just to become a better human.
Yes. Yeah. What I love about that too, that conversation, and you touched on this, is you got differing political values, differing opinions, but you're still coming together and you're just be able to have a conversation without the judgment, without the hatred. And what a great place to come from. Can you imagine if our political system was built like that, and you could actually spar with somebody in a debate standpoint, and you could learn from somebody without the need to be right? And that goes right back to jiu-jitsu, and why I think I can link every single lesson in life back to the mat, back to martial arts. Is a really good sparring partner doesn't train the same way as you. They've got different training styles, different bodies, different aggressiveness, different pulses, different tempos. And when you come together, you learn something new, and you leave, you shake hands. You're like, fucking A, I learned something that was beautiful, and I'm going to be better because of it.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, we touched on a lot today. What else you got going on, or what else is out there to share, add value, pour into some people here that are hanging with us on the podcast?
I'll be vulnerable for a second. How about that?
Let's do it, man. I love this.
You know what I'm going through as a whole is always personal development. Everything comes back to personal development, because at the end of the day, no one is going to do more for you than you can do for yourself. And when you ultimately like do for yourself, you have an opportunity to serve the world with your gift. And over the last, I'd say, 12 months or so, there has been this dynamic in the romantic field. I've learned so much about myself through love and through life. I was in a wonderful relationship with a beautiful girl for a long time. We had a gym together, had a business together, and it has gone now to the direction where we're going separate ways. And this is pretty recent. Ended just in December, and I'm learning so much about myself through that suffering and through that vulnerability, and how many triggers show up when I don't really want to face whatever it is that I'm afraid of facing. And so I'm noticing that my discipline is not being as dialed in because I'm spending too much time in toxic head trash. My food is one of those things that is still my vice. I love sweets. I love sweets, like chocolate brownies and cookies. And there's this little market close to the house. So they make these homemade chocolate chunk brownies that are fucking amazing. Oh, shit. And so incredible.
Right.
Yeah, bro. And so, dude, I got 2 chocolate chunk brownies last night, but the way that I'm rationalizing it is that I'm on a 10-mile run today. And so I'm like, I can afford the calories and carb load. But I'm noticing, and this is what happens when you get into personal development and start getting into self-awareness, that I'm engaging in these behaviors that are not fully in integrity with the type of person that I want to be all the time. When I eat crappy, when I eat sugar, it affects my overall mental clarity, affects how I feel about my body, affects my digestion, affects everything. And when I spend too much time in toxic head trash, even just a microsecond, I notice how it just takes time away from the good investment I'm pouring into the future. I start becoming more selfish, just like in a project. When suffering starts, we internalize, we start focusing on ourselves. So I'm just learning a lot right now. And the biggest thing that I can go back to that gets me out of all that shit and puts me back on track with the fitness, the goals, and serving, and ultimately leading the life that I want to live, is centering on one single thing, and that is service, and reminding that I'm here for other people and not here for myself. And as soon as I put other people first, it shifts my entire mindset, and I'm no longer am able to worry about my problems, start focusing on other people's problems, add value, serve. And it shifts everything. Like, that is the biggest thing that I am practicing every single day. But it's so easy to go back into that old modality of, man, I'm already putting out enough effort. I'm already putting in my 80 hours a week. I'm already putting in, time, whatever. I can spend just a little time just feeling sorry for myself. And it's just amazing how quickly that head trash picks up, and it's so easy to shift back into negativity. And so I'm just really trying to practice on serving. because I know that is the quickest way to solve.
Well, and I'll be vulnerable for a second. So about 2 or 3 months ago, I was going through some toxic head trash, and you were one of the first people that I thought to reach out to. And I called you out of the blue, and you picked up the phone, and we talked for about 5 or 10 minutes, and I could not pinpoint what it was necessarily, but I was really down, and I was like, things are going great in my life. There's a lot of really awesome. I have an awesome wife. I have amazing children. I'm so fortunate. I had a couple businesses that are going really well at this time. And it's like, I don't know what it is, but I just feel, like I'm just mad at certain things. And you go, hey man, go and serve others.
Yeah.
Go and serve others first. Go make some peanut butter sandwiches and hand them out to people who don't have food. Like go show. I did. I eventually ended up doing it. Yeah. Well, at first I was going out, and it was, COVID-y times. And I got some pushback from people as I was doing it. So I was a little shy, but then I eventually went back downtown Boise and did it. So hopefully that's not illegal. I don't know, but who knows this at this time in the world, but I went out.
You can take alcohol to go, like everything's good.
Yeah, for sure. So I went out and I did that, and I go, man, like there is something to that. There is something here that says, like, if I can serve others in my community, I'm so grateful for that opportunity. And I'm so grateful to be in a space where I can appreciate then
all the blessings you have.
100%. Yeah. It's just, and I would encourage others to do that, man. What a great lesson that you're imbibing on the group here, which is,
when in doubt, focus out.
Focus out, serve other people 100%. I think the more that we do that, I think the better world we create, for sure.
Yes. And it's like anything else though, man. It gets, you forget about it because we're biologically hardwired to be selfish human beings. Like our chemical makeup goes fight, flight, our cortisol cranks up, we hyper focus on whatever the task at hand. So if we're under stress, we're under pressure, we're dealing with whatever it is, relationship, toxicness, business, work, COVID as a whole, political system, we go into that cortisol state, that sympathetic state. And so our chemistry is literally making us selfish. It's not necessarily that we're all selfish people. Yes, we are selfish people as a whole, but our chemistry is having an effect on that. That's where breath comes in, where you have to be able to change your sympathetic state into a parasympathetic state. You got to be able to get yourself out of that mindset from a physiological standpoint first, so that you can think clearly. And that is why the breath is so, so powerful.
Yeah. From the service standpoint, let me talk just one more thing that I found, which is what I was feeling was like a lack of I don't want to say a lack of value, but like giving to others, like the underpinning of that means that you have value to them, right? There is that exchange of like, I'm giving you my time, I'm giving my effort, I'm giving you my whatever. Like I am refocusing on the fact that I'm a valuable human being, and that I can provide value to others. And that I can do that in a way in which I'm not seeking any other gratification or accolades or trophies or anything like that. I just want to give this to you. This is my gift to you. And when I walk away from that, like I also feel like, hey, like I got something just as much or more out of it. And you hear that tongue in cheek, but it is so true. So if you're in a really down place, one of the best things that you could do is give somebody else a hand, and then the world will work through you.
Yes. Non-attachment to the outcome. Give your gift just to give it. I'm sure you've read the book, but if you haven't, I definitely recommend The Way of the Superior Man. The entire premise of the book is unlocking your gift and giving your gift to the world.
Yeah, I actually have not read that, but this is my third call today. And on my last call, somebody brought that book up.
Read it, brother.
So serendipitously, I better, for sure. There's a message in there for me.
Yes.
Hey, just doing a quick time check here, brother. Where can people find you online, social media? What do you have coming? What do you have coming out? Maybe shout out a few things before we wrap up.
Yeah, check out trulean.com, TRULEAN. That is for the supplement products. And if you want to learn more about the project, it is a 75-hour personal development experience for men. Absolutely life-changing. It's not for the faint of heart. You got to be a badass. You got to be a savage. But if you're interested or would like to learn more or about the training program that gets you ready for the project, go to MDKproject.com. That's moderndaynightproject.com. And you can find me on social media. I'm pretty active on Instagram at the FitBeard. And other than that, Yeah. That's and Meathead and the Monk. Yeah, that's the conversation with Byron. We've got a YouTube channel. We're really just figuring that out. It's mostly selfishly for us because it's been just a whole lot of fun to learn these leadership lessons and share it. The feedback that we have been getting though is that these are, you know, pretty raw, real lessons that everyone's going through. So we're going to keep it going.
Dude, I turn it on in the background as some background noise for when I'm working sometimes. I just love hearing you guys talk through some of that shit. It's fantastic.
Love it.
All right, my friend. Hey, well, thanks for sharing a morning with me here, and looking forward to seeing you next week in Viva Las Vegas, my friend.
Yeah. All right, brother.
All right, take care.
Happy Saturday. Take care, man. Boom.